Russell, it's hard because I told myself, I'm like, I've been able to be successful in everything I try to be successful in my life. Like my goals I've set as an adult, like, since I've been about 28, 29, I've been able to do what I wanted to do. Okay. But weight, I could not lose the weight. And now that
Mm.
I'm losing it, I can't tell you how proud of I am of myself for the first time in a long time.
As you should be, sir. As you should be.
Because we could have all this success. Like, man, I've been blessed to have been able to do stuff and have stuff, and that most people would be dying to have, right? But
Right?
I still had this thing in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm still the fat guy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still am the fat guy, but you know what? I'm doing something about it. And as long as I'm doing something about it, if I die tomorrow, so be it. Hey, at least I'm trying.
Yeah.
Because before I wasn't trying.
I really appreciate you taking time to do this. I think it's really cool that you're willing to like share your story and all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to say thanks for doing that. Let me start with, sir, may I ask you your name, your full name and age, please?
Yeah, Billy Thorald, I'm 40.
Big family, small family?
Small family. I mean, it's kind of funny. I have a sister that's a year younger than me, and then I have two sisters that are 19 and 20 years younger than me.
Did you play any sports when you were in school?
Football, wrestling, baseball, all growing up, everything.
So like you were a fit kid then, yeah?
Never was fit. I was active, but I mean, I've always been really strong. Built like I could do athletic things for a big guy, but the unfortunate part of that is when you get sedentary as you get older, you are already heavy to begin with, and then you get heavy like everybody else puts on weight as they get older.
Mm-hmm.
You putting weight on top of weight, and it doesn't get good, which I'm seeing that's happening more and more. The less people are going out to jobs, and the less people, or the more people that are working at a computer. Um, you know, I really had an awakening over the last few years of just how I ended up where I've ended up and what leads into it and the changes you have to make. And I mean, they're not even that big, but it's consistency.
So you have consistency probably in many areas of your life, I would imagine, yes?
So I'd have all this consistency at work. I mean, constantly, every single year I've had this business, it's grown, it's grown, it's grown. And I push, I push, I push. But I was showing no consistency in my personal life. Um,
Hmm.
and what's the point of growing everything if you're not going to be around for it?
Was that the first time you had that like that
No,
realization?
I've had it many times. Like about in 2004, I lost about 100 pounds.
You had just like entered your full adulthood and you said, "That's it, let's go. I'm fixing this."
I seem to be on this kick where it's every 10 years because like I tried to diet every year of my life because ultimately we all know we're overweight, right? When we're overweight, it's not like it's a big secret.
Right. We live
Um,
it.
I tried numerous times, numerous times. In 2013, I lost a good chunk of weight again, probably about 60, 70 pounds.
That's a lot of
And I
weight.
got yeah, yeah, yeah. And I got really heavy into powerlifting. And
Okay.
I found something I was good at.
Uh-huh.
The diet never really lasted for me, to be honest, but I went to the gym consistently for a year and lifted, and I
Mm-hmm.
liked lifting, and I
Mm-hmm.
really liked it, and I was good at it, and that made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going through a lot of personal stuff too at the time,
Mm-hmm.
family issues, relationship issues, stuff like that, and my head was in a horrible place, like a horrible place. And at the same time, I'm managing my business and doing a lot. And like I said, I just went sideways. Then I met my wife, and we had our daughter, and that's been the biggest blessing of my life. But um, with that, comes all the fun stuff, and she wants ice cream, I want ice cream, and I got a partner in crime then. Fast forward the first year or two, everything's great. We're living life, but I'm not paying attention to my health.
Well, so, okay, so this is kind of what I'm curious about. Like I I would have I w- I would have tortured mornings of shame over what I ate the night before, to
Mhm.
have pretty decent intentions to have a good day, and then by 3 o'clock I'm folding and finding myself in drive through every night. Were you, how much was there any like self awareness with that? How much were you thinking about
Russell,
your
I knew
overeating?
that every day.
Say this again.
Every day I knew that I was messing up. I had so much shame. So like it like I can care like letting myself down is one thing, but the idea of letting my daughter and my wife down really it hurts me.
Yeah.
I mean if anybody with kids knows like what like I always heard all this crap, it changes you. You don't look at anything the same. The way you love your kid, you'll never love anything else. Like I heard all
Mm,
this stuff, right? It's all
it's
true.
it's all true.
It's all true. Though, and if you don't have a kid, it's hard to ever understand it.
And kids
It
may not
really
be
is
for
hard.
everybody. And I
And they're
say
definitely not.
kids are a beautiful burden.
They
They're a
are. I
beautiful
mean,
burden, dude. They really are.
they definitely are. And I wouldn't change it for the world. That being said, um, you have to be here for them. So my daughter's second birthday, um, I tested positive for COVID on her birthday.
Mm,
Yeah, and it wasn't good.
mm,
I I fought it for about a week, and I ended up in the hospital, and I was freaking out because I mean, honestly, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to. I mean, who wants to die? But I definitely don't want to leave behind a 2-year-old and
how
widow.
how old and how heavy are you at the time?
At that time, I'm um 37. I'm just about to be 37, and no, I'm 37. Excuse me, and I'm about to be 38, and I'm about 510 pounds.
Okay. Which I've been,
Um,
and it's hard to move at 510 pounds. It's
yeah, it
hard
is.
to move at hard.
It
It's,
is.
yeah.
It is, and it was really hard. And when I got sick, it just like I mean,
Mm,
it zapped me. So I went to to the hospital, and I'd been smart the way I did it. Luckily I took the ambulance to
mm-hmm,
get to the hospital.
mm-hmm,
So when you do that, they admit you when you had COVID, because I'd been once earlier that week, and like that in itself was a really traumatic experience. That I mean, like when you don't until you go through it, it's like I mean I'm freaking dying of COVID, right?
mm-hmm,
And they sit you outside in a tent that's no heat, no anything. It's the beginning of November.
mm-hmm.
You're freezing. You're sick. You know, you're shaking. All this different stuff going on. You can't breathe, and they just sit you out there and then send you home.
Yeah.
And I had a tough time with that one, man. I had a really tough time. Like the thoughts of like actually, I never thought I was gonna die in my life, and I didn't necessarily think I was gonna die that time, but I had the idea crept in my head.
So,
I felt vulnerable. I felt vulnerable, and I don't like feeling vulnerable, and I'd never felt vulnerable before.
so you come out
So
of that heavier, weaker.
no, I came out way light. I lost probably like 25, 30 pounds.
Oh,
But
great.
once I got home, I'm not moving. I can't move. They tell you need to just stay still.
Mm-hmm.
If your oxygen drops, it could kill you.
Mm,
So I'm doing what they say to do, and I'm not moving. And obviously, as good as that is for your lungs, it's horrible for your body in general.
right.
And I missed about 2 months of work. I just basically was on the couch for 2 months. So I started putting on weight and putting on weight. And when you hear your oxygen might drop and your lungs aren't going to recover, psychologically it really messes you up.
I mean, I want to go into this if you don't mind sharing.
Oh,
And I've been there before, and I've talked very candidly and openly about this as well. But
mhm,
you're over 500 pounds, you can
mhm,
barely move, you're on the verge of death,
mhm.
and still the weight is going up at this point.
Yeah, it's going up. I mean, it's like you're stuck on the couch, you're depressed. You don't realize how depressed you are. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
right.
you don't real- you're not thinking I'm depressed. You're thinking I'm sick.
Have you
But
ever wondered why you were still eating such unhealthy food at being at that stage?
I knew exactly why. It made me feel better.
Made you feel better.
It's easy. It made me feel better. It tastes good. You know, being healthy isn't the easiest thing. It's the best thing, but it's not the easiest. That's for sure.
Simple, not
But
easy. At least
yeah,
not easy
well,
for all.
especially when it's like it's Christmas time. There's cookies and cakes and
Yeah.
and honestly, to be really blunt about it too, like I haven't had to worry about spending money on food and stuff like that. So it's like I don't, it, me ordering um $100 a DoorDash
No
for
financial
lunch.
pain. No financial pain to
Exactly. So it's
yeah.
like I'm not, and that's a bad combo. Like Uber Eats and me were not meant to for each other.
Dude, I get it, man. I mean, I was living a lot of that same story.
Like I said, I just had this rut. I depression.
Mhm.
So I finally said, you know what, I gotta get help with this. So I got a psychiatrist.
Mhm.
And I worked on my head,
Mhm.
and I still have problems all the time. Don't get me wrong. Like I get fits of being depressed, but I'm getting better. I'm learning how to deal with things a lot better now. And I so I knew I got to get the weight. I got to figure this out. I want to be around. I love living. I love my life. I have a
Mhm.
great life,
Mhm.
and I don't want to go anywhere. So I met Chris Bell at a movie premiere about probably 2015,
Mhm.
and he was the coolest guy,
Yeah.
nicest guy.
Chris is fucking
So I
great.
said, yeah, yeah. I mean, like really, like he's a hell of a guy. So I shot him a message on Instagram. He got back to me and he said, "Hey, let's get together and talk this day." And of course, it was a different time than what he said because now knowing Chris, he's he's all over the place with his times and stuff. But we connected and he got me like we probably talked for like 2 hours. And it's like
Mhm.
talking to like a best buddy. Like everything you see online with Chris Bell is exactly what he is. There's
Mhm.
no bullshit. Like that
No.
whole deal. Like when you talk to him, it's there's a reason those guys have done so well, and it's because they're the real deal.
Yeah.
Like I can't I couldn't say it enough. Like Chris has been uh like family to the way he's treated me.
That's great.
So yeah, he's really helped. So Chris got me dialed in on a plan. First, we did a full panel blood test. I did like 100 different markers. We figured out what was going on with me. I had a high A1C. I was pre-diabetic. My testosterone was like an 80-year-old man. Um, I luckily my cholesterol wasn't bad. Um, and my blood pressure wasn't too bad either. So I got going, did the blood test. We figured everything out that I need to work on. I got on some different supplements, and we just started working away at the diet. And little by little, I'd send Chris what I ate every single day, every
Yeah.
day.
I remember him
And
telling me about it. I mean, Chris was very enthusiastic from meeting you. I think you had inspired him to start a whole new chat group with that little chat thread, the War on
yeah,
Carbs, I mean, we still use today, right? I mean, I
yeah,
told you guys today I was
yeah.
officially out of the size 6L and down into the 5
Which
XL
is
today.
it's crazy because it's such a big difference. Like
It's
it really is.
big
And it's
difference.
not like to other people they don't get it, but like I mean, think about going from a double X to an extra large.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's really that represented 90 pounds of weight loss. So you went out, you got yourself tested, you found out that you needed HRT, you started HRT, and
Best thing
how
I ever did.
yeah,
Best thing.
why?
I would get on the mountaintop and scream it to anybody. If you're 40 years old and you haven't gone on TRT, what the hell are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm not like I was scared to start it too.
Mm-hmm.
I really was. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was really nervous about starting it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best thing I ever did. I got tested, I think, about 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now my test level's about 730
Oh wow.
from 163.
That's phenomenal.
My
And that's
my A
healthy. That's not like UFC,
no,
5,000. That's just like a healthy man's testosterone level.
it's what
It's
it should be. It's
it's
like
it's it's
a
mid
young
high,
man.
or it's like it's on the high end of mid. It's not even high. It's just right there in the
Exactly. It's
upper area of
perfect.
mid. It's perfect. Yeah, great.
It's perfect.
How do
Yeah.
you how is it affecting you? How are you feeling?
Shit, man, it's like a new man.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning, you feel good. I'm happier.
Mhm.
Uh, like you have more of a zest for life. You feel like you did when you were a young guy.
Right.
You
Mhm.
really do. Like all that stuff that you hear, it's all true. Like it stuff works. Like the your drive for everything is higher.
Mhm.
It's just you want to be alive. You want like you feel like, hey, I want to do my diet. I'm sticking to it. Like everything. Um, it just everything starts to move.
Eh,
And for me, the test was a start. So I got the test going, and Chris and I had talking. I just started cutting carbs, and I started off. I used to drink probably 8 Diet Cokes a day,
Mhm.
and I drink maybe a Diet Coke or two a week now.
Okay, great.
And usually only when I like if we go out to dinner on the weekend or something, I like to have a Diet Coke.
Mhm.
Um, and that's really it. I don't have any at home anymore. And I'm telling you, I used to crack those things like crazy. There'd be
Mhm.
days I'd probably drink 10 of them.
Mhm.
But now I drink a gallon of water a day. I've lost 100 pounds in my life, and I lost it in like 3 months, 4 months. And now I've lost 80 something pounds, and it's about 8 months now or
That
so.
dude, that's
But
amazing. That's
yeah,
phenomenal.
but guess what? Like this weight actually feels different the way I lost it. I feel healthier, like way healthier, by actually taking the time and not just being like, "Hey, I got to lose this weight today."
Right.
Like I'm not like it's sustainable. Like I actually feel like I'm gonna lose um another 200 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do, well, I very much do. I have told people I spent my whole life trying to lose weight as fast as possible, and it got me nowhere. I actually just ended up getting heavier and heavier as long as I went. And a couple of years ago, I really felt like, because I was in similar places with you, man. I was near my end, man. I was over 500 pounds. Walking 20 yards was exhausting. Um, I
Yeah,
was I was
definitely.
still shoveling the worst food into my mouth at
Oh yeah.
ridiculous quantities, and I got one more. And the weird thing is, though, I was looking recently at my Instagram feed, because I've been trying
Mhm.
to lose weight my entire life. um all throughout that time, though, I was still exercising to some bit, but I was eating so much that I was literally holding myself down to the point where I stopped exercising, and I just fell apart in just a short period of time. So, that being said, I understand that I know exactly what you're talking about. I had made peace with the idea of losing weight slowly. I no longer care about really how long this is going to take. Of course, every now and then I get excited, and I start putting down goals on a calendar and all that sort of stuff. But the reality is, I sort of don't care. I mean, I do care. I'd like to be able to go see comedy shows. I'd like to be able to fly on a plane. I do care, but I'm so grateful for how much better my health has improved. How much life I had taken off the option for me, and how I've gotten it back in so many different areas. Like, this life is good right now. I don't want to I don't want to do this whole starve myself and then lose my shit and eat it all back thing. I just want to steady grind, lose weight slowly until I get, like you said, someone said to me today, because I'm going to be under 400 pounds here soon. And someone said to me today, do you maybe even you'll be under 300 pounds someday? And I said, no, without a doubt, I know I will. I know I will. There's not even a doubt. I know I will, because I'm going to just do what I'm doing now. This life is sustainable right now. I can do
100%.
this right now. So I'm with you with that. How are you feeling? I mean, like everyone gets so excited about the number, but how has life changed for you?
Well, that's
Being
the funny part is like
and
I feel better than
may I ask how much you're weighing now?
I'm just above 500. I should be under 500 by next week.
Fucking great,
Which
dude.
which is what's crazy to a lot of people, right? Like they hear the number 500, but I've always been like 500 to me is different than 500 maybe to you.
Sure.
Like like
I carry my
that's
weight
what
well too. Maybe it
okay,
was the
so
football players and us as kids.
or
We
something, but like I'll put it like this. Like I could go out and go to the bench right now and I haven't lifted in I lifted one time. I benched one time in probably the last 3 years,
mhm.
and then that one time was about 3 months ago, and I hit 3 plates.
Wow.
So what I'm trying to say
Strong.
is like I still have muscle. I
Yeah.
have muscle, and I'm not trying to brag or anything like that, but that's like I've been able to maintain my muscle, and I really am looking forward to start really working out. Now that I'm feeling better,
Yeah.
you know, um, because so Chris and I we'd talked from the beginning. The goal was not to overdo the exercise at the beginning
That makes
because that's a
sense.
lot. Yeah, and because I was at a number that was really high.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing was, is I could support doing a lot still, but I'd never had problem with like my feet hurting.
Oh, good. Lucky guy. Good for you.
Oh, I left something out too. What really got me in a rut is I fell last year in July.
Oh.
I was in Vegas and I was walking out of a casino and somebody spilled a coffee and it was right
Oh.
outside the door. I didn't see it. I went down, did the splits,
Oh.
and I jacked my knee up.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, I'd never fallen before. I'd always and it. You don't know what it is, Russell. Is the weight was just too much.
Yeah.
Like I like my balance wasn't what it used to be, and shit was just falling apart on me.
So you took a pretty big injury,
I could barely walk for like 3 months. Then this is the real or 4 months. This is the really shitty part. When you weigh over 500 pounds, you can't get an MRI.
right? Right?
You never really think about that, right?
I know I have. I've thought about it. I mean, I think
Oh, you
about
do. Oh,
my weight getting in the way of me wanting to get medical procedures or well, I don't necessarily know. Well, yeah, possibly if I want I or anything. I mean, like I constantly bump into the fact that my size and weight excludes me from participating in normal human shit.
mhm. Well, so ultimately, I was going to get to that part of it too. Is one of the shittiest things about being heavy is so I work really hard to be able to do nice stuff.
Right?
Like let's say like football tickets, or I went to WrestleMania this year, or some like stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what kind of anxiety people like? I don't think the normal person would understand the anxiety you get when you got to go to a football stadium. You're worried if you're going to fit in the seat,
Right.
or how much you got to walk.
Yeah.
And that's been a worry of mine for a lot of years now, a lot of years. So this past 2 weeks ago, I went to Cabo with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
We went with a group of friends, and it was really humid there, and there was a lot of walking.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in years, I didn't feel any pain,
Ha ha. Attaboy.
and it was the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Screw everything else.
I
You know
heard
how
you
good it feels to just be able to feel good.
to live, right? To live life.
100%. Because like I mean, like I'm going to some of these Dodger games coming up in the playoffs, and I'm excited. Like I'm not worried about parking, and like really, those are worries of mine. Like the worry. I read a book. I don't know if you know who Big Boy is. He was a big time morning DJ in LA.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've heard the name before. Yeah,
he was probably almost 700 pounds,
right.
and he's probably like 180. He had the gastric bypass.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
read
I know I've seen him somewhere, but I can't quite place it.
yeah, he's huge. But anyways, he had the gastric bypass and lost 500 pounds.
Hmm.
Well, in his autobiography, it was so resonated with me so much that you don't think that other people are thinking the same things you do, but like he would go to a restaurant and he'd be worried about what kind of chairs did they have in there. Was it only booze?
It was the only
'Cause
booze.
do the chairs have sides on them?
Yeah.
And to a normal person, that's stupid. What do you? Who cares if the chairs have,
Yeah.
if there's booze, if the chairs have sides on them and this and that? But
I
to us,
yeah, I went to this this was 15 years ago. A new sushi place opened by our house. I took my wife to it, and all booths, and even like they had like these high tops with
mhm.
what do you call it? With stools, right?
Yeah,
But
but the stools have sides.
the stools were bolted to the ground.
Oh shit! What kind of place is this?
Oh, man, I don't know, man. They don't want
I
people
think it was there to
falling.
mess with
Maybe
you.
they get everybody so drunk they're afraid they're gonna fall or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that place.
But
Somebody was playing a joke on you.
uh, well, I turned around and walked away. So like,
I would
but
have too.
I don't really. I mean, like, listen, dude. Obviously, I want clothes that fits me. I want them to be able to
Yep,
make clothes that fit me. I want to be able to find a car that
100%.
I can fit in. And if the market's going to turn to me because so many people in the market need it, and they can make more money that way, that's one thing. But I don't expect the airplanes to think of a 400-pound man when they're, or a 350-pound or 300-pound woman when they're making airplane seats. I think we kind of put ourselves in this position.
Yeah, it's funny because like even like stuff you just take stuff for granted. Like like hey, like I had this. Um, I remember one time I tried to fit in my buddy's car. I went to drive it and I didn't fit, and it's a big car. I'm going, what the hell? Like, how do I not fit in this?
Mhm.
And just stuff that you should be no problem.
So listen, man. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but that brings me back to the food. How did the food have such a hold on you, and how are you dealing with it now?
Well, you know what? That's that. So I've really thought about that a ton now. Now that I'm doing better, like I've been really thinking about the whole situation. And so I attribute this to a couple of things where I really got out of control and gained the extra weight. I was depressed and the food comforted me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also I had a really bad habit. I was chewing tobacco for about 10 years and I kicked it. But it's actually like 5 years ago today, I think. A matter of fact, it is 5 years ago today.
Hey, congratulations. Happy
I haven't touched it
anniversary.
once. Hey man, I
That's a
remember
big
the
deal.
reason I remember my dumb ass, I kicked it right. I kicked it the day I went to the Dodgers first playoff game of 2000, what is it, 2018. And I haven't touched it since, but when you quit something like that, you pick something else up. So I was, like I'd have uh tobacco in my mouth all the time, so I'd eat less. And then, I don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think it was a just bad relationship with food. I used it as a comfort.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I eat food when I'm happy. I eat food when I'm sad. I eat food when I wake up. Like I've noticed, like if I go on vacation, and when I go on vacation, I go on vacation. Fuck this keto diet and all that stuff. I'm having a good time.
I don't blame you.
No, that's how it should be. All that stuff's crazy. Like for someone that enjoys going out and stuff like that. Life's too short. Have a good time.
Mark Bell, he doesn't mean it. He doesn't mean it at all, Mark Bell.
Hey, Mark Bill's a different kind of savage.
That's true.
He is. He's definitely a different kind of
Mark
savage.
Bell
But
makes it a point to show the world you can still keep your shit together while
oh
traveling
yeah.
the
Well,
world.
Mark Bell, I didn't see that video, Mark. But anyway.
That's great.
No, but honestly, I like to have a good time when I'm on vacation and stuff. And you know what? When I
Yeah.
come back, there's a reason Mark's like that. And you know what it is because when you come back, it's fucking hard to go right back to it.
Right.
And when I come back, I'll notice I that morning I go, fuck, it'd be nice, man. A little Chick-fil-A for breakfast.
Dude, wouldn't it be nice? You're not
Or
wrong.
hey, how about going and getting a couple of those McGriddles or something, right? And
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what? You know what, Russell? That food's toxic.
yeah.
Like so when I quit eating that stuff, and that's what it really has been the biggest thing is with the weight loss. I'm slow and steady. I'm doing good. I'll have a nice cheat meal on the weekends, maybe even a cheat day to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I might go all Sunday and just eat whatever the hell I want.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I eat so much less now, um, that I don't mess up like I used to. Well,
Are
yeah,
you
true.
walking much?
Now, right now, I'm not. I'm still not walking. Like
Okay.
I'm not going out. I haven't been working out.
Yeah, because you're recovering still, right?
I'm trying to make it so I don't want my legs to be messed up. Because as soon as that go, like the weight was just too much.
Yeah.
But I actually just bought the gym membership uh,
Nice.
yesterday. We bought a year at 24 Hour Fitness, and I'm gonna start doing 3 times a week
Bro,
just to start.
I totally know what you're talking about with the it's really hard for people that haven't been as heavy as you and I have been to really
Mhm.
even especially when they're fit to conceptualize how fast our joints fry out. Like the joints fry out immediate. Well, they used to fry out immediately on me. I was so
Oh,
broken down and I was so oversized and heavy. I mean, God bless my feet and ankle. They did the best they could and they did a really good job for a long time, but I was still too much for them. Now though, I'm starting to get access to strength back again. So I just want to let you know, man, and especially for other like really people that are really heavy, like we were and are, and I still am. I'm still huge.
mhm.
Like I get, there's nothing wrong with being Team Turtle. Just be Team Turtle, man. Go slow. Take it easy. And
No,
if
that's 100%. And you know what? When we all look in the mirror, we got to look at ourselves, and we got to know, hey, are you being a pussy or not?
right,
And we know,
right, you know
you
if it's
know,
real
we
pain or if
know
you're just being a pussy. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And sometimes there's nothing wrong with being a pussy either. If that's what you need to do, as long as you keep your diet dialed in, just do it. But like, not everybody's built the same, man. We're
mm-mm.
not all built the same. So like, and you don't know, like, for like, let's say me, like at a certain weight, I might be able to move better than somebody who's 320 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have friends of all shapes and sizes, and I see, like, you've heard the skinny fat and
Yeah,
all,
sure. Yeah,
and I see it, like, a guy might weigh 225 pounds, but then he can't move a 45 on each side on a bench.
sure.
So
Mm-hmm.
um so I look at that, and I just try my hardest to be like, going back to what we said at the beginning. I'm trying to be consistent, and I'm trying, like, I Russell, it's hard because I told myself, I'm like, I've been able to be successful in everything I try to be successful in my life. Like my goals I've set as an adult, like, since I've been about 28, 29, I've been able to do what I wanted to do. Okay. But weight, I could not lose the weight. And now that
Mm.
I'm losing it, I can't tell you how proud I am of myself for the first time in a long time.
As you should be, sir. As you should be.
Because we could have all this success. Like, man, I've been blessed to have been able to do stuff and have stuff, and that most people would be dying to have, right? But
Right.
I still had this thing in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm still the fat guy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still am the fat guy, but you know what? I'm doing something about it. And as long as I'm doing something about it, if I die tomorrow, so be it. Hey, at least I'm trying.
Yeah.
Because before I wasn't trying. I was just sitting there in a ball, and oh fuck, I'm fat. What am I doing?
Was it hopelessness or indifference?
You know what? I'm not going to sit around and say that I was feeling hopeless or anything like that. What I did was I just mask it with other shit,
Mm.
drinking, and
Distraction. Distraction
distract,
medicine.
distraction, and a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot,
Yeah.
a lot, and that's horrible. Like, we're all better than that.
I had a conversation with this guy, Brian Hurley, strong
Hmm.
man. I don't know if you
Hmm.
follow him on Instagram. He's training to do his first strongman competition here shortly. He's been heavy his whole life, and I asked him, "Do you think you're lazy?" I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that laziness is a byproduct of obesity. It doesn't necessarily come from laziness, but it being obese turns you lazy. What do you think about that?
I agree with it 100%. Because I'm not lazy. I'll work when it comes to my actual work. My occupation. I'll work my fingers to the bone, you know. But that's another thing that, you know what? That's a really good point, actually. That question, like, it does make you really, it makes you somebody or not. Because honestly, man, like it was never that I didn't want to do something. It was that it hurt so fucking much to do it that I couldn't do it. My lower back is what would be messed up. And I'd lock up on me. I just couldn't go.
Yeah.
It was too much. It's not, and honestly, man, it wasn't me being a pussy. It really wasn't. The more I look at it and self reflection, it was me. It was just I couldn't do it. I didn't have it.
If you had to give advice to, say, someone that was 25, similar situation to you know, childhood, high school athlete, kind of got through those, years where they were outgrowing, they're getting bigger, but now they're in their early adulthood and they realize their weight is starting to look like it could get out of control. What do you
Mhm.
say to them?
Really, for me, like if I could go back and talk to myself, I would be like, stop and take care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else, and you're just lying to yourself. And you're going to leave a lot of stuff in the wake if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
think I don't think you can say it any better than that, right?